Okay, let's dive right into Job chapter 29.
Great chapter. It's all about memory, isn't it? Yeah.
Exactly. Job, looking back at his life before all the suffering hit, he's painting this picture, of how things used to be.
A time he clearly saw as incredibly blessed.
Right. So our mission here is really to unpack that memory. What defined his prosperity back then, his standing, and maybe most importantly, the values he upheld.
Yeah, and it's such a stark contrast to his present situation in the book. He kicks off just longing for those months gone by.
That time when God watched over me. You immediately get the sense of divine favor being foundational.
Totally. He talks about God's lamp shining on his head, how he walked by his light through darkness. It's very personal.
And it wasn't just a spiritual feeling, right? It seemed to flow into everything.
Absolutely. He recalls being in his prime, having God's intimate friendship. His family life sounds idyllic. His children were around me.
And then there's the material side. Those vivid images, his path was drenched with cream, the rock poured out for me streams of olive oil.
It's more than just being rich, isn't it? It's like effortless abundance, a sign of that favor.
And this internal sense of blessing, this a closeness with God, it clearly translated outwards to his reputation.
Oh, definitely. Think about that scene he describes at the city gate, the hub of public life.
Yeah, when he arrived, what happened?
Well, young men saw me and stepped aside, and even the old men rose to their feet.
And the leaders, the powerful people.
Silent. Chiefs and nobles just held their tongues. That's serious respect.
Yeah.
More than just manners.
Deep respect. But the crucial part, I think, is why. He connects it directly to his actions, doesn't he?
He does. People spoke well of me. They commended me because of how he lived. It wasn't just status.
It was earned through righteousness and justice.
Exactly. He says he put on righteousness as my clothing. Justice was my robe and my turban. It was his identity. Visible.
And he gives concrete examples. It wasn't vague goodness.
No, not at all. Rescuing the poor who cried for help, stepping up for the fatherless who had none to assist him.
Making the widow's heart sing. Even the dying blessed him.
Right. It shows that acting with compassion and fairness really mattered in that community. It was noticed. It was valued.
He was incredibly active. Eyes to the blind, feet to the lame.
A father to the needy.
Yeah.
He even investigated the cases of strangers, people with no connections.
And he wasn't afraid to confront the powerful who were doing wrong, breaking the fangs of the wicked, snatching the victims from their teeth. That's quite an image.
It really is. His reputation was built on that integrity, that willingness to defend the vulnerable.
And because of that character, that proven track record, people listened to him, really listened.
Yeah, they listened expectantly. His words weren't just noise. They fell gently, like needed rain.
Like showers, like spring rain they drank, in his words.
Wow. It paints a picture of a society that genuinely sought wisdom from someone they knew was just and trustworthy.
He was their leader. He chose the way for them, sat as their chief, like a king almost.
Even a comforter to mourners. His presence itself, the light of my face, was considered precious. He was central.
And maybe the saddest part of this whole memory
is that he thought it would last forever.
Yeah. He genuinely believed back then, I will die in my own house, his days like grains of sand. He expected it all to just continue.
That constant vitality, like a tree with roots in water, his glory always fresh. That was his expectation.
So chapter 29 gives us this incredibly rich picture, a life built on God's favor, yes, but also profound respect earned by actively living out justice and righteousness.
It's a powerful definition of a blessed life in that context. Less about just having things, more about ethical action, leadership, and that divine connection.
Which leads to a final thought, maybe, for you listening.
Yeah, when you look at Job's description here, this highly respected, prosperous life, what does it tell you about the values of his time? Especially that link between character, action, and how society viewed you.
And maybe ask yourself, how does that definition of a truly blessed or successful life stack up against how we might define it today?
Something worth pondering.